Gamma Display Assist, you can use it on the FX3. You just got to dive into the menus a little bit, turn off log shooting, and then set up a separate picture profile that uses S-Log3 as opposed to like a Rec 709 or something else. I feel like a bit of an idiot. And the reason why is because in the FX3 a couple months ago, Sony allowed us to load our own LUTs. Once you do that, then I was under the impression that you could no longer use Display Gamma Assist. If that is part of your workflow and you use that routinely on your camera, this is the video for you. Because again, I feel like such an idiot because it is actually available on the FX3, but there's a couple things that you need to do in order to get there. And that's what I'm going to go over in this video today. The reason why I like Display Gamma Assist as opposed to the custom LUTs is because every single one has a different IRE value. So if you are using zebras to nail your exposure, which that's the technique that I personally prefer, the challenge is depending on what LUT you're using will determine what those zebra values are. Having the Display Gamma Assist consistently across all of your cameras while shooting an S-Log3 is really a huge time saver. And more importantly, it takes up less real estate in your mind because then you only have to worry about one or two figures as opposed to like multiple figures depending on which camera you're using. So let's get into it real quick and let me show you how to set this up on the FX3 so that you don't make the same mistake that I did. All right, so I have the FX3 pulled up here. Let me go into the menu system and you can see right here the way that I'm set up right now is in log shooting. And again, I was under the impression that with log shooting, that was the only option. The only way to shoot in S-Log3 was in log shooting mode, which is actually incorrect. So in flexible ISO, you can see that I'm set up here for log shooting. That's the mode that I prefer personally, but I know a lot of people use the Cine EI workflow. That just doesn't work for me. I'm not that good yet, but maybe eventually I'll get there. But anyways, if I go down in here to display option and go to Gamma Display Assist, you can see here that it's grayed out. When I click on it, it says, nope, operation or setting not available as follows because I'm in flexible ISO. Okay, great. So that stinks. So then what you have to do is go ahead and turn that off. So let's turn off log shooting. And what I've done is I've now gone in there and set up a new picture profile. You can do this with any picture profile. I just happen to choose PP1 because I don't use that for anything else. I don't use any of these picture profiles. The only thing I've ever done is set up the picture profile specifically for S-Log3. So let's go into that now. So if I go in here and you can see here the gamma, I think the default one, actually I can't even remember what the default is for PP1, but for my purposes, I've switched this over to S-Log3. Okay, so now the S-Log3 is there, color mode, sgamut3.cine. Now I should be all set. And now you'll see I have this mapped here. I can put the Gamma Display Assist either on or off. If I have it off, you can see what that does to the image. It really flattens it out, or I could turn it on. And that gives it the nice contrast that I like. Now, the benefit to this is obviously then you can use your exposure tools like a gray card, so you can nail exposure regardless of which camera that you're using. And with S-Log3, I think it's 41% IRE plus or minus 1 gives you a good starting point for most exposures. And I use this, I don't actually use it. I use this here in my home office, but I have, the X-Rite color passport that I use when I'm filming out and about. That is what I'm using. Hopefully this was helpful. Don't make the same mistake that I've made. If you like shooting in S-Log3, and I would highly recommend that you shoot in S-Log3, the dynamic range with these cameras shooting in S-Log3 is insane. I've tried using S-Cinetone, but unfortunately it just takes it just cuts down on the dynamic range. So with S-Log3, you might have, I don't know, it's like 15 stops of dynamic range. You put it into S-Cinetone, and I don't know what the real number is, but it feels like you're losing at least 2, probably 3 stops of dynamic range. It just does a much better job of capturing dynamic range as opposed to the S-Cinetone. And that's not a rap against S-Cinetone. It just means that S-Log3 is just that good. So you're really crazy not to use S-Log3, even in an environment like this. Like I'm in my home office. I'm going into OBS as well as capturing it in my ATEM Mini Extreme ISO. And, in OBS, I could just basically pump out the footage in S-Log3 and then slap a LUT on it in OBS which I'm using the Phantom LUTs, the neutral one from, I forgot the guy's name, Joel something maybe. So you get this great image straight out of camera and you don't have to worry about anything in post. And you still get all the benefits of that dynamic range. So I'm a big tangent. Sorry about that. Gamma Display Assist. You can use it on the FX3. You just got to dive into the menus a little bit, turn off log shooting, and then set up a separate picture profile that uses S-Log3 as opposed to like a Rec 709 or something else. Hope this was helpful. If it was, make sure that you smash the like button and also click the subscribe button down below to be notified of future videos. Thanks for watching. Take care.